Here with Joel Klatt, NFL and college football analyst. And you're on your show this week. You have the Ravens a bit of a surprise here, trading up to 19 for Georgia edge Nolan Smith. Now we know Eric DeCosta loves to accumulate picks. So in your mind, what makes Smith worth the trade up?
Well, okay. So full disclosure, I was just stuck with the Bucks. I was like, I mean, like the Bucks need so much. I didn't love the players available, and I was like, well. And then I was like, you know what? The Ravens, Nolan Smith just feels like a Buck, and so I traded up for him because I thought to myself, I think it was Seattle was the next pick after the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken, or someone that needed an edge rusher, and I was like, well, they would take Nolan Smith, but I want Nolan to go to Baltimore. This is born out of the fact that I know Mike McDonald fairly well, I know that system of defense fairly well, and Nolan Smith feels like a Ravens pick, a guy that everyone loves, that everyone says, yeah, he's one of the better players in the draft, he's an alpha, he's a great leader, he can run, he can do everything well, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, of course the Ravens took him, and he's a good fit for that system as well.
In your other mock draft, you also had the Ravens going edge with Iowa's Lucas Van Ness. So what makes you think that this is the position they really want to target in the first round?
I know that the overarching philosophy of that defense is build a run wall, create really hard edges on the outside, and then get hybrid cover players that can run in the second and third level. I just don't feel like their edges are where they want them, to really compete. There's also this aspect of the AFC, and you're looking at all these quarterbacks, and I know that there's some drama around quarterback in Baltimore. But look at everyone. I mean, now Rodgers is in the conference. You've got to rush the quarterback. You've got to create pressure. I went with edge because I think that they value edge and they need it.
So if they were to trade back instead and pick up some picks there, who do you think could make sense later in the first round for the Ravens?
Oh, gosh. That's a great question. Well, it would have to be like, where do they trade back to? If there's certain players available at 22, they're going to have a chance to trade out because there are teams that really value a few names. Here are those names. Dalton Kincaid, if he's still on the board. Jordan Addison, if he's still on the board. There are teams that I know will trade up to get them. So if those two are available, I think that there's a chance that Baltimore could trade out. Having said that, it's a good edge draft. I probably would still stick with edge. At this point, they could probably still get Lucas Van Ness if they were to trade out. That's a good question. I would have to see exactly like what happens with the board, but I would stick with an edge rusher. I've kind of planted my flag with an edge rusher for the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm sure Mike McDonald would love that pick, so thank you for the time.
Yeah. Mike, what's up, bud?